Unreal, man.
Unreal.
First of all, CJ shot went through, man. We had to go into overtime. I probably would have fell out this chair, but like, really? That's how we're
Bro,
doing this nowadays? This is a half court heave? Come on, man.
unreal. But as we said, the Atlanta Hawks coming into this game, winners of 17 of their last 20. The new look Trae Youngless Hawks, man, impressive team, scrappy. Obviously, their defense is their hallmark. Their offense runs through Jalen Johnson, but now it's also running through Nickeil Alexander-Walker. 12 of 19 points, 7 of 11 from downtown. So the Knicks had their hands full and even went into the half down by 4. But I thought the Knicks came out the gates with the requisite energy and the intensity to meet the moment. That is what Josh Hart called his team out for this week. And that's what we talked about this last week, just in terms of what we want to see, how this team, in terms of how this team is ramping up and preparing for the playoffs. And I thought defensively they were dialed in. They met the moment. Offensively, way too sloppy. We'll talk about that because the turnovers almost did them in again. But overall, I thought their approach was tight. But let's start with JB, man. 13 points in the first half. He had 17 in the fourth quarter, and at one point had 12 straight Knick points to almost close this game out, man. Your thoughts on Captain Clutch?
I mean, brutal start for him, CP. Brutal start. He got going just by facilitating, getting everybody in their spots. But look, there was a parts of the second and third quarter, man. He was really searching for answers. And, gotta give credit to the Hawks defense. They were doing a good job defending him. I mean, you have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you have Dyson Daniels out there, Jalen Johnson. You got enough wings out there to really deter Jalen Brunson and make life a living hell for him just to go get to his spots. But there were even moments throughout that third quarter, I thought in the third quarter in particular, where he was doing a little too much. He had Cat really rolling. And even when we were sharing the court out there, I was like, you're doing too much, man. Just let the game come naturally to you. Thankfully, he did let that happen in the fourth quarter, man. Got going, and then he did what he normally does, which is close these things out, man. And the shooter's touch came back through, was moving very effectively. It feels like when I watch Jalen Brunson, and even when he's having one of these difficult games, the adrenaline just kicks in. Like what is it like? The hyper awareness just starts to activate. It's like like in Star Wars, like where you could just pinpoint. You see the targeting system, find that the hole for the entrance where they got it, where Luke has to shoot down. Right? It just feels like Brunson has that type of focus, hyper focus in the fourth quarter to really close things out, and that's all you need from him in this one, man. Not a great overall like 4 quarters, but the fourth quarter is all that matters in this one, man. And sometimes that's all you need from him, man, just to close these things out.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. 30 points for Captain Clutch, Jalen Brunson. 13 dimes, and we're going to talk about that. 2 steals, finished with 11 of 26 from the field, 3 of 8 from downtown, and then 5 of 7 from the free throw line. And yeah, it was tough sledding in the beginning because, give credit to the Hawks. He's got to get through a lot of tough opposition. This is part of the reason why the Hawks are in this position right now to be the 5th seed in the East is their defense is stout. And it starts with Dyson Daniels. Then he's got to deal with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Sometimes you get a little CJ McCollum on you. So I thought Cap did a good job of overall just feeling him out, feeling out the Hawks. And also I thought the 2-man game with him and Karl-Anthony Towns, this is probably the best it's been all year between the two of them. And so, he took what the defense was giving them. He got the big bodega involved. Knicks ran a lot of offense through Karl-Anthony Towns. But this is what was mentioned on the Peacock telecast. And I like the Peacock telecast and how they set it up with the 2 color analysts on both benches. And I like Austin Rivers in this. But they talked about it. Look, the difference between these 2 teams, the Hawks, you can say everything, and they're scrappy and all of that. Closer. Who do you go to when you need a bucket? And that was the difference in that fourth quarter. Jalen getting to his spots, shaking guys. Drop Nickeil Alexander-Walker, tough shots over Dyson Daniels, the footwork. You know what I mean? Like, it was just textbook Jalen Brunson in that fourth quarter, and that was the difference tonight. How about the big bodega, Karl-Anthony Towns? Sensational tonight was the big bodega with 21 points, 12 rebounds. An efficient night for Karl-Anthony Towns. 6 dimes. They did start off the game really running a lot of offense through him. He found a lot of Knick cutters. But then in the third quarter, which I expected because, it seemed like he took a quite offense to the way the Hawks were defending him and the lack of calls. So I knew Karl-Anthony Towns was going to come out pissed off in that second half. And he did because, this is the thing. The Hawks, as much as they have good perimeter defense, their bigs are just not there. You know what I mean? And that Okongwu matchup, that was there for Karl-Anthony Towns to dominate the entire night. Even when the Hawks are switching on everything, I still think the Knicks left meat on the bone in terms of him going to him on those switches and either dominating in the post or turning around and just facing up and shooting. But overall, man, I thought he was excellent. I love the two-man game between him and Jalen Brunson, and those two guys were part of the offensive engine that got this team the victory tonight.
Absolutely. And look, you mentioned it earlier, CP, the pick and roll between Brunson and Cat, finally, we got to see that action going. And honestly, it looked beautiful. I mean, even when Brunson wasn't hitting his shots, it was getting Towns great looks, great opportunities, whether it was him attacking and just rolling to the basket, picking pops, and then working off of that, or even just doing the short roll and finding guys in the corner who were available for, wide open threes. And just keeping Towns engaged just seemed him even to amplify his defense too, CP. And sometimes that's all it needs to really get a guy to buy in is just letting him feel the rock, get his shot attempts, and then he'll feel energized to play defense and get right back to work on the offense. But for tonight, man, there was no answer for him. You know who they need, CP? They need Clint Capella back. They need some sort of center on that team because that's what they're missing. And look, if the Knicks do face up with the Hawks, you already have the game plan. It doesn't matter if it's Cat. It doesn't matter if it's Mitch. Whoever's playing at the 5 has a runway from here to California, bro, just to go out and just take anybody to town. And for Towns tonight, you couldn't stop him. Whatever he wanted. And that's the way I want to see him play every single night, CP. That's the way I want to see him play. Putting up threes, pump faking, off the dribble, working off the trailer, doing all the things that he did out in Minnesota. That's how he needs to play. And better late than never. Let's see if they can do this against the Celtics, the Hornets, because it's one thing to do it against the Hawks, who don't have a center, right? It's another thing to impose your will against teams that do have centers and are even more challenging.
Kata playing well for the Celtics, so you'll see that. So let's see how he fares. But tonight, I thought he was great, dominated where he needed to, and even during that telecast on Peacock, it was late in the game when they went to him on a mismatch, and he ate. And they were like, why aren't they just spamming this every single time?
Dude, there were times where Brunson was taking a shot. I'm like, yo, no. Just get it back to Cat. The dude is rolling. He is even when they took him out, I'm like, I get it. He needs a breather. But I'm like, dude, the game's right there. You could have this is light work for the man at this point. But CP, outside of the offense, I thought he was playing well defensively too for the most part. Yeah, he has miscues. You're not gonna be 100% on defense. No one's 100% on defense. But I thought defensively he was active. He was protecting the rim. Nobody was able to impose their will on the other end of the court against Cat too. So I thought he was moving his feet well defensively. Thought he was protecting the rim well. I thought he did a lot of great things defensively. And so honestly, it wasn't just offensively. Great two-way play from Towns tonight against the Hawks.
And you know who else delivered out?
Who?
Who else delivered in this game?
Wait a minute. Where's the country music? Can we get country music playing every time we're going to talk about this guy?
We should. TM, we got to add that to the soundboard because Big Country, Mitchell Robinson, once again comes in and dominates. 8 points, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks. And you know what, Al? Honestly, this was a game where the box score does not even do justice to the grittiness, to the absolute dominance of Mitchell Robinson in this game. The stat sheet did not do any justice. But all I will say is what I've been saying for the last 2 weeks. Mitchie is putting his money where his mouth is, and he's ready for the playoffs. Let's go, man. Dominated tonight.
There's a moment, though, before we discuss Mitch, there was a moment where he fell, and I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Please,
yeah.
for the love of God.
I thought he broke his hand.
I was like, because he was hustling for everything, diving, getting blocks left and right. Then you see him fall out of bounds, and I'm like, oh, no. And
I thought he broke his hand on that Jalen Johnson's play.
I thought it was the ankle. I was like, okay, this is it, man. I was like, damn. It was like, yes. Oh. Thankfully, he's okay. Went back to the locker room, came back, got back in. Still dominant. That is Chef Money Mitch, man. That man is money right now. All money. You need him defensively? There. You need him on the putback? He's there. You need him blocking shots? How about CP, the block that he had that translated to an OG breakaway dunk?
A perimeter. He blocked 2 threes.
Bro, you had both of your best defensive players making a play to turn the game around. That is why Mitch is so important for this team, man. And you see that once he was out there, nobody wanted to attack. They're like, oh, we can't shoot, we can't drive. What? And it threw the Hawks completely in disarray. Mitchell Robinson, one of the most valuable players on this team, okay? Brunson, of course, we know what Brunson does, but when you think about the defensive impact for this team, when he's out there, nobody can match that. Maybe OG, but really like the imposing of your will. That's what that was tonight. Good Lord, man.
Yeah. And I love him and OG out there. They just get after it. It was ferocious. You had him guarding Jalen Johnson for a second. Okongwu, forget about it. Nobody's driving on him. He blocked 2 threes on the perimeter. And what you're seeing, he's in shape, man. Mitch is in great shape right now. And you just see it by the way that he's hustling on both ends of the floor. And it changed the game. It absolutely changed the game when he got in there. And this is why I say, come playoff time, you can go double big, and that hurt the Hawks. The size overall hurt the Hawks.
Oh, but if you put Mitch and Cat out there, it's over.
You can go double big. You could go to him and have Cat sit, get stronger defensively. And overall, you get the second chance opportunities offensively. Mitch, amazing. Absolutely amazing. How about the one where he contests the shot and then on the rebound by Okongwu, he blocks the rebound. He blocks the putback. That's what I'm talking about in terms of how good a shape he's in right now.
Dude,
how
and he's strong too. Springy, but the strength too, because remember, when he came into the league, he was thin, man. Very thin.
Yeah.
Like wiry, could fly over the place. Now he's got muscle on him, and you see... This is the thing about Mitch too, man. It's not that you need 1 or 2 players. You need 3 to 4 bodies to try to box him out. He is that much of a unit on the glass that it then creates a mismatch for everybody. Because when you have to put that much effort into boxing a guy out and he still gets it, what does that translate into? Him kicking it out to somebody else for an open 3. Him kicking it out to somebody. Someone has to rush out there, drive, and then easy driving lane to the basket. It's stuff like that, CP, that you will never see on a stat sheet, that you have to watch with your own 2 eyes, and where you're like, all right, maybe you can get the defensive and the offensive metrics, but you really won't. It will never fully measure the impact until you see it game in and game out. And with Mitch right now, it doesn't matter who it is. All right, you can even talk about Philly. You could talk about Boston. Whoever has to guard Mitch, you have to put multiple bodies out there. And the fact that he still gets those boards and kicks it out creates an advantage for the Knicks all the time.
As we segue to the key stats of the night, brought to you guys by Prize Picks. Knicks shot 50% from the field, out 40% for the Hawks. Knicks only shot 33% from downtown, but the Hawks did shoot 38%. Obviously, a lot of that was Nickeil Alexander, 7 of 11 from downtown. Both teams going 13 of 17 from the charity stripe, which was interesting. Hawks won the rebounding battle. Despite the Knicks' big seeming to have the dominant edge, Hawks did win the rebounding battle because on the offensive glass, 19 offensive rebounds for the Hawks tonight. Very impressive. Speaks to their effort and their hustle. Knicks win the assist battle 29-23. Turnovers, 17 Knicks turnovers leading to 15 Hawks points, but the Hawks equally sloppy with the ball. 15 Hawks turnovers leading to 21 Knicks points. Points in the paint, Knicks dominated 52-34. That I expected based on their size advantage. And then largest lead of the night, 7 for the Knicks, 10 for the Hawks. Great game. And Hawks led 52% of the time. Knicks led 35% of the time.
Look, I think for this one, man, biggest thing that stood out to me in this matchup is once again the turnovers. And when I'm looking at the turnovers, man, like 17 total turnovers for the Knicks tonight against the Hawks. Not great. They did obviously against the Bulls. The Bulls are a terrible team. They had like about 8, 9 turnovers. Against a athletic and young team that can get out and transition and score, I would just like to see them protect the basketball more. We're talking about dress rehearsal. Got to protect the rock, man. That's so critical at this point in this stage of the game. You cannot be giving up silly turnovers and just giving teams opportunities to stay in this one. I mean, look, this could if we talk about the Knicks just cutting down, man, you get a little bit more of a cushion against the Hawks. But because they're being careless and just like being a little too, I don't even know what the word is right now. It's not just careless, but being a little too adventurous with some of these passes that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
You allow teams like the Hawks to get out there and run. And we see it, man. When they get out running, and we've seen the Knicks are not great in transition. They had some moments where they stopped them, but they're just not a team that's going to be, that will excel in the transition defensive game. So protect the rock, man. Protect the rock.
Protect the rock. I'm with you. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the points in the paint, man. Kind of just spoke to the dominance of the Knicks inside game. Jalen Brunson also getting inside. Karl-Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson, OG. Look, I mean, the Hawks, they don't have size, right? So it was a good job by the Knicks just exploiting that and taking advantage of it, not getting trigger happy outside on the perimeter and just jacking up threes. No, they mixed it up inside and won based on playing off of their strength. So I'm going to go with the points in the paint advantage there, where the Knicks beat the Hawks 52-34. Solid. Great job by the Knicks there, man. Absolutely great job. So there you go. But the key stats tonight, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Prize Picks is now back available in New York as well as all 50 states. And right now, if you download the Prize Picks app, use our code KFTV, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And the way you play Prize Picks is pretty simple. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. So, for example, they'll have Jalen Brunson points. They'll have Jalen Brunson assist numbers, and they'll have stat projections. And you just say, okay, if his point number is at 24, tonight he had 30. If you predicted more, you would have won. If you predicted less, you would not have won. But the thing is, you can stack projections in the same lineup. So out of those 2 to 6 player stat projections, you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. So if you want to pick Brunson points, assists, threes, you can definitely do that. Prize Picks also has early payouts. So if you get off to a hot start, you can lock in your winnings before the game even ends. And it's quick to deposit. Withdrawals are fast and secure. You can also follow the social feed to see what the community is building. So once again, download the Prize Picks app and use our code KFTV to get $50 in bonus lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I'm going to swing it over to our guy, STG Nick, and I'm going to throw it on you, Al, so I can grab some water. STG, go ahead and unmute your mic.
How we doing, guys? I thought that was one of the better wins of the season there for sure, especially on the road and against a team that has won 13 straight at home, by the way, and they've won 18 out of 20, so one of the hottest teams in the league. And, with us having beating a team over 500 in a month, I thought, this was a good game. Definitely had playoff-like atmosphere. It's good to get, these reps in as we head down the stretch. Down there, the final 2 free throws, I mean, I was definitely thinking they should have purposely missed that second one just because I think there was 1.2 seconds left, and it's a lot harder to, draw up a play when they have no timeouts. It's pretty much just would have been rebound and chuck, but instead they make it, and then it allows Atlanta to at least get some sort of play. Luckily, it didn't count. I thought Mitch was just incredible. His impact was larger than I think even like you guys saying the box score showed. Little scary there moment diving for the loose ball, but he made it out healthy. That's what matters.
Hmm.
It's so hard to tell who we're gonna play in the playoffs, but if I were to rank them in order, I would kind of go kind of what you guys were saying: Toronto 1, Hawks 2, and then Philly 3. I think we would beat all of them, but it's more so just like you don't want to kill yourself in the first round. You want it to be relatively light, and I just think Philly, we would win it, but I'd probably be like how it was 2 years ago, where it's going to be kind of a grinded out series. But I'm excited though now for Thursday. I think that's going to be a big test. I think Thursday could be the last time we really see this team, at least in the regular season, go all out. I think they'll really try to win that one, and then Toronto on Friday, no Mitch. I don't think they'll go all out. And then Sunday, we'll see. Last year against Brooklyn on that final game, 82, they had the seating locked up and they started PJ Tucker and some other guys. So I don't really think they'll take it too seriously depending on where they are. So I think, Thursday could be the last time we really see a true, playoff rotation before it's go time.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you, Nick. I think that sounds about right. And like we'll see what the playoff rotation is, and then moving forward, like, is there any team that you're looking for in this postseason round one? Like, is the Raptors number one that you want?
Yeah, I would go just Toronto. I think we match up pretty well against them. Well, you also have that experience factor, but I think we've looked pretty well against them. So if I were to choose any team, not scared of any team, but if I were to choose any team, I would have to go with them.
Okay, how you feeling about Philly right now? If it was Philly,
I think Philly, like they'd be the hardest matchup. I just think, those guards are very fast and up tempo athletic. They might give us a little trouble there just because you have Edgecombe. It's harder to hide Brunson a little bit when you go up against Philly. Um, they're fast, up tempo. Paul George has been playing really well since he came back from the suspension.
mm-hmm.
So they definitely have, they look pretty well. Especially if Embiid gets in there at 75, 80%, his shenanigans. So they're a tough team, but I still think we'd beat them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still think we beat them. Probably take a little, probably go six, not necessarily the sweep or gentleman sweep that you get in Toronto, but I still believe the Knicks would beat Philly.
Yeah, yeah, no, same for sure. And then with the playoff rotation, like I think tonight we pretty much saw it. I like the quick hook they kind of gave with Clarkson. I said that before too. It's like with him, you got to be a little bit careful because he was getting a little careless with the ball, had a few turnovers. And then I thought it was nice to see Deuce. Deuce looked in rhythm game by game. He's getting better and better. Hit a few threes. He's moving better. So I think, also with that week off next week, I think everyone should be hopefully 100% ready to go.